show more campaigns on that nature.
In terms of what you upload, clearly you're a free new media organisation without the constraints that other mainstream organisations may have. And mainstream media have a lot of debates about what's acceptable to show to what they have as large, wide audiences. What kind of considerations do you give before you upload, and also once something's been uploaded, that you think may have recriminations for soldiers in the field?
Well, quite often there are certain safeguards in place. Unlike the mainstream media who broadcast news directly into your home, with a site like LiveLeak, they have to go on, read a description, click a link, verify they are old enough. So you've already got some safeguards, people know what they're going to see. When it comes from soldiers, I think if there is a very real OPSEC violation, they will hear about it very quickly and get on to us asking us to remove the video for them. In all honesty, it's very rare that I've heard that directly from a soldier.
And can you tell us about your links with the military? Have the military been in contact about any of the videos you have?
The US military, their media division, actually posts on LiveLeak. They have their own channel. Apart from that, not a lot of contact, to be honest, apart from providing videos for them in the past for training purposes.
Mm-hmm. And you've been involved with new media from an early stage of the development. What was the reaction within military circles at the very beginning when this was a new phenomenon?
Same as the government circles, abject horror. You know, so all of a sudden we no longer have control of all the information. And in the early days, it wasn't even particularly delicate information that was coming out, but it was the fact that these things were getting out with no controls and there was nothing they could do. So understandably, when you've had a certain procedure of dealing with things so long and this new technology comes along, it was quite a shock.
General Van Loon, maybe you can elucidate how that shock manifested itself in the army.
This is just part of the shock. Let's be quite realistic. The fact that we have to deal with media, the fact that that information sharing becomes more important than protection information. We have the same discussion when we talk about information sharing, classified information sharing. There is still a strong tendency to sit on information because there might be a security breach. And we've got the same discussion here. The possibility of something, OPSEC breach, happening, which we want to desperately avoid, should not stop us from getting all the positive elements in here. We must start realizing that there is so much more opportunities here in very open websites, but also maybe in a bit more secure websites. I can go to my bank via the internet, I'll use a card, I'll stick it in a machine, punch in some numbers, and then go to a secure network, and I send my money from here to there. If I can trust the bank to do that, why can't we put some information on this? I'll give you an example. Counter ID, the whole ID threat in Afghanistan is certainly the most important threat we have. And the fact that we learn about how this works, what happens, fast, is so incredibly important. Now, if you talk about new media, if you now go and a young sergeant in Afghanistan experiences something like this, and he could then on a secure website post his experiences, so that a sergeant somewhere in the Netherlands or in the States or in the UK can immediately access this secure site and say, well, hey, that happened in Afghanistan, let's incorporate it in my training. That is extremely powerful use of the new media, which I think we need to embrace. But there are so many changes which the military has gone through the last 10 years. Sometimes just the resistance against change, because of the resistance against change, it becomes a problem. Complex operations like Afghanistan are forcing us to learn quickly. Transformation of NATO is got an enormous pace now. So I am very positive that we will be able to embrace this, and I'm personally not very worried about it. But there is, of course, another side, and that means that we have to educate the public that gets to these sites and make them understand from what perspective these weblogs are written. Because there is a very clear danger in here. A young man that is for the first time, or woman is for the first time in her life under fire, has to return fire. This is a so powerful experience. This is so much on their mind that, of course, everything they put on a weblog is now completely focused on this very important event. And then, of course, if you see it out of context in your own country, this looks like, well, it's 24/7 war in Afghanistan, which is not true. 99% of the work is done reconstructing, stabilizing this country. But there are combat operations.
Let me ask you about the chain of command, because obviously within the military, what is known to who and when is, for good reasons, a tightly controlled operation. Now that you have soldiers who can be at the lowest rank of the military, revealing information, as you say, on non-secure websites so that it can be seen all over the world, how does that integrate into a chain of command that has been very strictly and sensibly set up for a specific operation?
One, we have got the best soldiers in the world. Let's be absolutely sure of this. These are extremely good, very, very professional soldiers. And I trust my soldiers. There is no reason not to. Of course, that's what I called the management system before. We need to look at how do we make sure that if they make mistakes, we tell them, hey, probably not very smart, change it, do it better next time. So that we focus on this. But we at all levels in the command need to do mission command, which means I take my responsibilities, my subordinate colonels take their own responsibilities, and the soldiers have their own. The strategic corporal, as he's sometimes called, we must now, we know that he exists. We know that his actions have an immediate impact, because there might be a television camera, there might be a politician or even a lawyer looking at what he's doing. So we must make sure that these strategic corporals have the luggage to make sure that they can do their work. And that includes trust when they put something on a weblog.
I'd like to ask the same question to both of you. Do you think that what's being posted and revealed at the moment by those in the field, do you think it's viewed more as educative or more as entertainment at the moment?
That's a good question. I've seen weblogs from soldiers which I thought were very educational, which gave an enormously, with a very good picture about what is happening, which allows the public to inform themselves about what is it really